Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Ida. Welcome back to my channel, and today I have a special guest. His name is Omar.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Thank you so much for having me. I
No
appreciate it.
worries, anytime. And today we're gonna actually have a celebration for Passover. We're gonna have a feast, and this is my first time celebrating it. And Omar, you celebrated it quite a few times already.
Definitely. I think it's more like sixth or seventh time doing it. You know what I'm saying? It's really been a great experience so far.
So I guess we're gonna say a prayer first, and then you can maybe explain more about Passover.
Definitely. I would love to.
Yeah.
I'd love to.
Okay, let's start with a prayer.
All right, not a problem. So, Almighty Father God, we thank you for this opportunity to celebrate Passover, Pesach, the day of remembrance for what you did for your children in Egypt and what you'll do for your children everywhere. And in any time, Father Lord, we thank you for this wonderful meal that you helped us prepare, and you helped us get the ingredients for it in every way, shape, or form. We thank you for everything you do. Thank you for the beginning of Passover. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Okay, so now let's just get straight into the food first because I am starving. We did make a plant-based meal.
Definitely. A plant-based vegan, you know what I'm saying, Passover meal.
Okay, so this is what our meals are looking like.
Definitely.
So we had to be a little creative because there are certain, certain rules, right, when it comes to like what you can eat during Passover.
Definitely. So any type of bread that got the chance to become leavened, which is basically the opportunity for it to rise. You're supposed to bake the bread, before that begins to happen, or that process begins. So once you make it and it's a flat bread, you're good to go. You eat it with the right foods. It's amazing.
Did we show them the bread that we made?
Mm-hmm.
Or the bread that you made, actually?
Definitely need to show them.
So what do you call this bread again? Matzah?
So it's called matzah.
Matzah.
Yes, so definitely it's Hebrew. So matzah is like I got some oats, some rolled oats, and I put it in the blender. I made it with the flour, and then we created that. We're using a little bit of water. I used some black pepper. I used some a little bit of salt. A little bit of spices here, and I put some curry, some coriander, a little bit of not paprika, some chili powder. You know what I'm saying? The right amounts.
For our meals, we made some jackfruit,
Mm-hmm.
we made some beans, we made some rice, we made a salad, and then we have grapes and raspberries. But there's a reason for the grapes as well.
So you can have grapes, grape juice, or grapes like Ida said, as a beverage or as a food. Just to remember like the good things or the sweetness of the future. You know what I'm saying? So you're supposed to have a mixture of something that's sweet and something that's bitter. So you have greens or bitter greens, and then you have you can have sweeter vegetables or sweeter fruits, just to remind you of the transition period of being in in the biblical remembrance of it, like oppression. You leave an oppression to get to the sweeter part, which is the promised land. So the promised land is for the sweet fruit. I'm sorry. That's really what it is.
This food is actually really good. Really spicy, but really good.
Mm-hmm.
I never had this type of bread before, and I'm actually surprised how good it tastes.
What do you like?
Really good.
Really like it.
Do we explain about the bread again? We did, right?
No, I'll explain it for you.
Okay.
So, the significance of matzah is basically when the children of Israel were in Egypt, the nights that they were instructed to go inside and wait for the time that the Lord has to pass over or do the overpass, they weren't allowed to, or they didn't have the time to actually let the bread rise. Because a lot of bread recipes, you have to let the bread like inflate somewhat. Mm-hmm. So you didn't have the chance to do that. So that's why they had to make it flat. You know what I'm saying? So that's in remembrance of that. And if you look at a lot of other cultures that have like a lot of spirituality that's sacred to their core, you notice they always have a flat bread. Historically speaking now, actually, when you talk about the Last Supper, they were having wine. It's like we talking about grapes. So like, remember they turned the water into wine, like Yahushua. It's supposed to be a Christian principle. It's also a Hebraic principle, which is aligned with Hebrew, or from the Hebrew people. So it's anyone can celebrate it. Muslims, Christians, Hebrews, wherever you are. You could definitely celebrate. And people will know. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing wrong with that at all. Showing remembrance of the Most High.
So I hope you guys are all doing really well during this crazy global pandemic going on with the coronavirus. And I hope you guys are safe with your families. You guys are taking care of your mental health, emotional well-being, and all that. And me taking this time to rest, to recover, to be closer to God, and to just have self-reflection and just kind of do all the things that I always wanted to do. What do you feel about having Passover, celebrating Passover during this whole coronavirus and like global pandemic that's going on right now in this world?
That's a great question, by the way.
Thank you.
All right, so me personally, like, I think this situation, going on, like, simultaneously with like Passover, or really the other way around, however way, whoever takes it that way, you know, I think it's an opportunity to really appreciate every blessing. You know what I'm saying? Like, to really look around and look back at all the different luxuries that's been taken away from us, you know, at the cause of a circumstance, that has ended up affecting billions of lives to this day, you know, and it just happened just like that, you know, and I think like it's almost kind of reminiscent of like what they talk about during those days in Passover, when there was a lot of trials and tribulations, you know what I'm saying? There was a lot of plagues going on, and, you know, like it had the 10 plagues of Egypt, you know what I'm saying? Like, where there's a lot of things that ended up happening that, you know, subsequently ended up creating a lot more things, but, you know, we can speak about that a bit later or another time if you choose. But yeah, you know, I think this is a good time to really look at everything and really appreciate the people around you, appreciate the situations you have, you know, appreciate, you know, all the mercies that have really been blessed upon you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a good opportunity for all that. And any time of reflection is always good, because you start to look at life differently and you start to move in life differently.
For me, the biggest things that I feel like I've realized during this global pandemic and lockdown and everything is you start to just kind of, it's almost like you start to see things more clearly. You start to kind of think about all the relationships you have with people, you know, finding like your interests or hobbies. Me personally, like, I found it to be a lot easier for the lockdown just because I'm already naturally like a homebody. I don't really go out as often. But of course, like, now when this whole thing is over, like, I'm going to appreciate outings and gatherings a lot more because you know, we take those little things for granted sometimes. And the weird part is, like, time has been going by so fast, which is crazy. I thought it was going to go by so slow, but it's been going by so fast, which is actually great though. And cooking a lot more than usual, eating a lot more than usual, because you don't realize how much you eat when you're at home all day, you know what I mean? So, which is good though, because then you realize the food that you make sometimes is actually a lot better than when you go out to eat, which
Real
is crazy.
Talk. And people really learning how to cook now, or using that ability that they had if they knew before.
Actually, a couple tips to boost your immune system during this coronavirus. Ginger, especially if you get organic ginger, and you just throw it into a blender. You can make it into a juice itself, and then you can pour that juice into other juices, or you can just like have a little chunk, a piece, and throw it into your smoothie. I honestly can't believe how good it tastes, and instant relief, you guys. Like, you feel instantly better. Instantly. I'll also have to add in oregano oil.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
I forgot to like take that, but I took it once when I was feeling a little down, and instant relief too. And I think you mentioned garlic too, right?
Yeah, garlic worked too, and like black seed oil. Like, black seed oil worked very well, and like eating a lot of foods with like coconut oil. Like, coconut oil, once it gets in your system, it helps you as well in many different ways.
What are some of the things that like you like? What do you think about this whole lockdown? Like, do you think it's gonna end soon? Like, what do you think is gonna happen after or soon?
Well,
any predictions?
You know, I'm not an expert at all about these things, so, you know, I could only speculate. And my speculations are that, you know, there are going to be some very, 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 very historic, life-changing and reality-changing and shifting events that'll happen very soon. And I think that, you know, everything is just happening within time spans. You know, and I've been noticing a lot of signs in this time, you know, of Corona. And, you know, I just want to wish everyone who has been suffering with it, who has lost family members, my condolences. You know, wishing you peace, blessings, you know, prosperity and wealth and health and recovery in every way, shape, and form. But, you know, I think that this time is really like crazy because, you know, none of this has ever happened in history.
No.
And the events that preceded it hasn't happened in history either, you know. So I think it's really good to pay attention to things and not really pay attention to our emotions, no matter how emotional the situation is. You know, and really pay attention to the patterns, the signs, and the events, and really put it out there and really examine it, you know, and notice that there's a lot of things getting exposed in 2020. Like a lot of things are really like just putting out there. Like, listen, I think there's a lot more that's about to happen. So I just want people to be patient, you know, do what you need to use this time to develop yourself, develop your emotional strength, your physical strength, you know, all types of different strengths, man. You know what I'm saying? And just be great. You know, let things unfold as they may. And don't try to control what you can. You know, this time really taught a lot of people who, you know, they held a lot of rank in the world. It really showed them how vulnerable their positions are, you know, their wealth, how vulnerable that is, you know, all the things that they hold to a certain standard. They realize that it can get taken away just like that, you know what I'm saying? So that's why, you know, people should just be very mindful of what they do because the switch can switch at any time. And what I also want to say is that, you know, at this time we're realizing that the people that society really needs and depends on, we didn't really have them in the best of states or the best of positioning because, you know, when you look at it, it's really the essential workers of America who are really keeping everything alive. You know what I'm saying? And the CEOs and everybody who ran away and left people to really deal with a lot of different things, you know, that's really harsh, you know, but they really basing that off the people that need to feed their families, even more so during these times. So I really hope and pray that, you know, a lot of these companies will start to pay out some more money to these people who are working very hard during these times and, you know, because you're making a profit. So the people who are really there and essentially working for you, you need to take care of that. And those essential workers, you're realizing that now you're at the top of the totem pole. Please do not turn into power tripping people as well. If you know that people are dependent on you and you're able to do things.
So who's been watching a lot of movies lately now that you guys are on lockdown? Because I feel like for quarantine now, like we've been watching movies. So we're gonna watch, is it called Constantine?
Yeah, Constantine.
We're gonna watch that one tonight because why did you say you want to watch that again?
You know, I think Constantine has some very good like anecdotes, if that's the right word, that I think is useful for this time. You know, as well as like Matrix,
Yes.
Matrix 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
That's real good for this time too, because you know, those events were kind of inspired by what's kind of going on right now, which I'm not going to speak on, but you know, a shout out to Sophia Stewart, who won the biggest lawsuit in Hollywood history for writing The Matrix. So it was a story about a lot more, so y'all should go look up that story if you want to.
And it's crazy how a lot of these movies are similar to what's happening right now. Remember that other movie? Contagion? We didn't finish the whole thing though, but it was like almost exactly
what was going on right now.
Crazy. We didn't finish it though. Yeah. So.
Predictive program.
Exactly.
Shut up.
We're gonna leave that where that is.
We're gonna leave that where.
So funny. We even created a handshake because, you know, why not?
Well,
like, what are some of the weird things that you guys have like done during quarantine? I feel like quarantine, like, it really tests the people that you spend the most time with. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of helps you see, like, who who you're good with, who you're not, in a way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because like spending all that time in the house together with your significant other or like a family member or whoever you live with, like that's gonna test your relationship with that person. Either you're gonna grow stronger and you're gonna realize how much you really cherish this person, or sometimes it can go the other way, which I've been hearing a lot of.
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah, I've been hearing about it, but I ain't even experienced it. I can tell you that much.
But I think it depends on your compatibility, because that's the most important on how you determining on how you're gonna get along with somebody, right?
Agreed. Because if you could get along with them on quarantine, you can get along with them anytime.
Exactly.
Because when you stuck with that person where there's no distractions, there's nothing that's getting in the way, y'all really getting to know each other and noticing a lot about each other, you know what I'm saying? Distractions in their way and in yours, you really get to see if that person really for you know what I'm saying? So this is a good time to really like discern what you need to keep in your life and what you need to reevaluate, you know, and just leave it at that.
Exactly. So it's a big wake-up call to like a lot of things.
Agreed. Because you know why, like this really shows everybody who was doing things, and I'm not trying to be judgmental or anything, but you sometimes really need to point things out for everyone to see and examine. But like everyone who was doing things they're not really supposed to be doing in terms of relationships, they suffering the most because they don't have anyone that they can say, hey, I can go and be with this person during this time, you know what I'm saying? So it really makes you think, you know, what are you really doing with the time that you're giving to the people that you're giving it to, and why are you giving them that time, you know what I'm saying? And is it working for you, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of things that we do in many parts of our life, they affect a lot of other parts of our life, you know what I'm saying? So it's usually interchangeable sometimes.
Yeah. This is also a great time to discover hobbies, interests.
Exactly.
And also learning to spend time by yourself. Because then you can learn about yourself. Also, you know, developing a strong relationship with God as well. This is the time where it's like you're forced now to do the things that you know are good for you and that you're supposed to be doing. Sometimes we need to be forced.
The good thing that's also about solitude, you know, anyone that you really look about, like in the Bible or any type of like historic like names, they all had to have periods of solitude before they came out doing whatever they had to do. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're in solitude, that's when you're really able to move right, because when you're moving alone, you have to stay strong. So you always opening your mind, opening your eyes, you know, your surroundings, you're paying more attention to. So your senses are much more heightened, you know what I'm saying? When you're alone, when you're around a lot of people, you fall and you become more comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Then you become dependent on the idea of having a lot more people around you. You know, when you're alone, that's when you really get to know God, because when you got to roam and be by yourself, you know, that really takes your relationship on another level, because you really got to trust in it. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to have a little bit of solitude, and this is good because then there's no distractions, there's no NBA, there's no NFL, there's no games. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times people are so into it that they forget other things that may be a lot more important. You know, the things that right now, when everything is taken away, the things that you're paying attention to, you know, now this is why it's happening, you know, because sometimes, like Adi just said, you know, we all need times where we need to reset and really pay attention to what's going on and really, like, reflect, you know, because right now, this is time for revealing and exposing. So this is a good time for you to look back at different situations that you were part of and realize what you overlooked because you were so distracted.
Yeah. I agree, 100%. And distractions come from like not even just like TV and media and all that, like from people. Do you have any last words?
Yeah, you know, I just want to let it be known, you know, my background, my background is not very religious at all, but this was all because I actually went through my own trials and tribulations that I really stumbled across evidence to believe in things that I really believe in. And you know, I could definitely say, like, testify to certain things that I've experienced. And it was not in a church. It was not in a temple. It was not in anywhere like that. You know, I experienced it where other people have seen it themselves, and I'm just going to leave it at that. And I think that, you know, it's right to observe God and God's grace when He really blesses you, you know what I'm saying? If you do right by somebody, you will want them to be like, yo, I rock with you because you did that for me. You know what I'm saying? So I salute you. Anything I can do to help, I'll help. You know what I'm saying? It's just about gratefulness. Gratefulness goes a long way. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And gratefulness is anywhere before. It's always before greatness, even in the dictionary. You understand me? So be grateful, man, even for the smallest things, and you realize how much more just pop up right in front of your face when you start to appreciate the smaller things. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate that you got something to drink, you got something to eat, you got people you can talk to, you know, you got money in your pocket. Be grateful for whatever the smallest things. If you don't have money in your pocket at the moment, think about how you're going to build that money when the time is right, because everybody has the opportunity to become who they want to be. And you know what else? Like, real quickly, you know, as I just said, like, you got to be mindful of the people you keep around you. Like, I know you have a lot of ladies on your platform, mm-hmm. So I just wanted to bring up something, and I don't mean to be, you know, in any type of way, violating any codes or whatever the case may be, just saying something on this channel. You know, a lot of ladies, if y'all around each other for a long period of time, you notice that your cycles start to align. You know, that shows like you start to biologically align with a woman who you hanging around with. So imagine other interactions that you're having, how much of an effect it has on you. You know what I'm saying? Your spirit and just a lot of things in the future. You know, you gotta be very mindful. You know, like everybody that you meet up with or you have any type of interaction with, you're gonna leave, or they're gonna leave an exchange. You know what I'm saying? And a deposit, and that might be whatever it may be, and it may stay with you for a long period of time, or it might leave. But sometimes it's much more difficult. So you just gotta be mindful of what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Friendships, relationships, everything. And this goes for the men on the channel too. I hope y'all paying attention to it. You know, salute to everybody. You know, but yeah, you gotta be very mindful of like who you invest in time with. You know, you become the 5 people that you're around all the time. Mm-hmm. It's just a law. You know, if you're around someone, they talk a certain way that you like. You start to pick up certain words, certain mannerisms. You know what I'm saying? You start to like move like them a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You start conversations like them a little bit. You start to hang around the same kind of similar people like them, because you looking at them and you being around them. You know what I'm saying? So you just gotta be mindful of who you spending that time around, who you investing that time with, because it's an investment. You know, because you know you could either get bad returns from it or good returns. So it's all according to what you check out as your portfolio.
Exactly. I've seen my life change dramatically depending on the type of people I have around me. Mm-hmm. And also want to mention too, if you don't have the right people around you, it's better to be alone
than to be
around the wrong people. And if you continue to build yourself up to the type of person you want to be, you will eventually attract those like-minded people around you. So you won't have to be alone for too long, but it's better to just be alone, or to have even just one person or two, than to be around the wrong people. Trust me, you don't want to go down that path. You definitely don't want to go down that path. I hope you guys are enjoying this quarantine. I hope you guys have been doing a lot of self-reflection as well, evaluating all the people and things and situations, circumstances in your life, and using this time for the better to make some positive changes into your life. I hope you guys are all doing well. I pray that you guys are staying safe and healthy. I pray that your family is doing well as well. I hope that your job situation is doing great. I really pray that we all come out in a very positive way, which I definitely believe that's going to happen. I don't think the world will ever be the same after this.
Never.
In a good way?
In a good way.
And so we have a lot of great things to look forward to after this whole thing is done. What about you, Omar?
You know what I'm saying? I'm just chilling, man. I'm just happy to be here. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm gonna live my life. You know what I'm saying? Thank God every day that I get another day of life. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing that before this, and I pray that everyone, you take the opportunity to be thankful every day you wake up, because that's a blessing. There's a lot of people who are not. You know, rest in peace to all those who are lost at this moment, and those who may tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? But we're wishing everybody, you know, all the best, peace, blessings, abundance of happiness, joy, you know, health, and just be great, man. Don't let nothing tear you down. And if you stay calm during this time, and you know, you'll be fine.
Okay, well, I guess that's the end, because I am full and tired, and I think we've said everything probably that we wanted to say. So let me know in the comments below, how have you guys been spending your time during quarantine? And if you guys want to go ahead and check out Omar's Instagram. What's your Instagram handle?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No worries.
You know, my IG handle is, KHAGANOMAR, so it's Kagan Omar. Or you just look up G Moses, it's G with a little slash and MOSES. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.